Welcome back to the Secrets of Writing a Research Paper. I am Mr. Yue, and this is a lesson on how to write a thesis statement. Please feel free, as always, to pause, rewind, or rewatch this video as needed. You can go at your own pace. So, what exactly is a thesis statement? Well, it is usually a single sentence, usually at the end of the introduction paragraph, that clearly presents the goal of the essay or the purpose of the essay. And why is this thesis statement so important? Well, it's the roadmap for the essay. The writer, you, will gather and organize all the evidence in the body paragraphs to support this statement. There are three parts of a thesis statement, and they are the topic, the position, and the so what or why. Now let me show you with an example. This thesis statement, written by one of my 10th grade students, reads, "Discrimination against people with disabilities in the workplace is still present in America today because employers do not always provide appropriate accommodations, offer fair pay, or make deserved promotions." So the part highlighted in yellow, that's the topic, the general idea that the writer is writing about: discrimination against people with disabilities in the workplace. The writer takes a position on that topic in the salmon color. Her position is it's still present in America today. And the so what or the why, you can think of this as your reasons to support your position or the big ideas that support your position. And this writer presents three. In purple, employers do not always provide appropriate accommodations is one, offer fair pay, two, and make deserved promotions is three. Now, here's a pro tip before we continue. Review your thesis statement throughout the writing process and make changes as needed. Your thesis statement is a living thing. It can and usually does change as you go through the writing process. Do not feel like your thesis statement is written in stone once you write it. It will evolve, it will change as you go through the rest of this organization and writing process. Also give you some extra pro tips along the way to help you perfect your thesis statement as we go through some thesis statement examples. I'll present some examples to you. You pause the video and give the statement a score from 0 to 10, 0 being the worst, 10 being the best. Come up with reasons to justify the score that you give the thesis statement. Then unpause the video to see how I scored it and why, and see if our thoughts aligned. All right, here's the first one. It reads, "The government has the right to limit free speech." So pause now and give this a score. All right, so I gave this thesis statement a score of 5. It's okay because it has 2 of the 3 parts of a thesis statement. It has a topic, which is free speech, and it has a position, which is the government has the right to limit it, but it doesn't have any reasons or so what or why. It's missing that crucial component. That leads us to a pro tip here. You notice that the topic actually came after the position in that previous thesis statement, and that's okay. The parts of a thesis statement can be put in any order. It's just important that you have all 3 of those parts that we just talked about. All right, here's another sample thesis statement. It reads, "This paper will discuss the reasons why kids should not be allowed to watch 13 Reasons Why." Pause the video now and give this one a score. Okay, so I gave this one a 3. First, it has 2 of the 3 parts of a thesis statement. The topic is the show 13 Reasons Why. The position is that kids should not be allowed to watch it. But there's really no so what or why. And there's also this part here that says the paper will discuss the reasons why, which doesn't fit into any one of the 3 parts of the thesis statement. And that part that doesn't really fit with any of the parts of a thesis is why I gave this one a lower score than the last sample thesis. And it also leads us to another pro tip. Avoid phrases like this paper will discuss or in this paper you will learn. Those types of phrases do not help present your topic, position, or so what or why. They don't fall into any of those categories, any of those parts. So just don't use any phrases like this. All right, here is another sample thesis. It reads, I believe Americans must continue to protest discrimination against African Americans in everyday life. Pause the video now and give this one a score. Okay, I gave this one a 3 as well. First, it has a topic, discrimination against African Americans in everyday life. It has a position that Americans must continue to protest that. But it doesn't have a so what or why, right? That's a crucial component that is missing. It also has this part at the beginning that isn't highlighted at all, the I believe part. Again, it does not fit into any of the 3 parts of a thesis statement. And that also leads us to our next pro tip. Avoid using phrases with personal pronouns like I believe or in my opinion. Your thesis statement should be confident, and it should seem like it is an easily defendable statement. What do I mean by that? Well, if you say I believe or in my opinion, the reader takes it or interprets that to mean that this is a feeling you have. It's something that is based on your emotions or your beliefs and not based on the facts that you've gathered. So you want to avoid using phrases like I or my. Just avoid them. Your thesis statement will be much stronger and much more confident without them. All right, here's another sample thesis to look at. It reads, Norwich Free Academy is the greatest high school in the region because it offers courses in many fields, blends tradition and innovation, and numerous extracurricular opportunities. Pause the video now and give this one a score. Okay, I gave this one a 9. It's really, really pretty good. Not quite perfect, though. It has a topic, Norwich Free Academy. The writer's position on that topic is clear, is the greatest high school in the region. And this writer presents a so what or why. Again, these are the reasons to support the position or the big ideas that support the position. And this writer presents 3 of them, which is great. However, this writer is breaking a grammatical rule that's really important with thesis statements called parallel structure. You'll notice in the so what or why, this person lists 3 reasons. The first 2 reasons begin with verbs, offers, and blends. Now, the third element, or the third reason, begins with numerous. That is not a verb. So this leads us to our next pro tip. Follow parallel structure rules in the so what or why section of your thesis statement. So let's go back to the thesis statement. And this is what would score to 10. If instead of numerous extracurricular opportunities, this writer wrote, provides numerous extracurricular opportunities. Now you see that each of the 3 reasons presented begins with a verb that ends in S, offers, blends, and provides. If you read this out loud again, it flows so much more nicely and it's so much more clear. Okay, so try to use parallel structure. If the first part of a reason begins with a verb, then the rest of them should begin with verb. If the first part of a reason begins with an adjective, then the others should also begin with an adjective. Okay, so remember that your thesis statement is a living thing and will evolve. You probably will not write it perfectly the first time, and you may need to share it with your teacher and get feedback multiple times, in fact, before you're both satisfied with it. And that's perfectly okay. That is the writing process. So now, after completing this lesson, you can write a draft thesis statement and get feedback from your teacher. But as always, consult your assignment schedule or check with your teacher to determine exactly what is expected of you next. Now, next up for us is how to create an outline, and then on deck, I'll show you how to write a body paragraph.